Welcome back. Very short introduction today. I'm just going to try to solve some puzzles on chess.com. Hopefully that will help with my chess development. As always, I'll talk through my thought processes as I solve them, and hopefully you'll get something out of this too. But again, this is mainly for me. I'm trying to get better at chess, and let's see what we can do. Playing with the black pieces, first thing I look for is checks, and then captures and threats. I have two different checks in this position. I think those are the only two. With this check, after they move out of check, I would win the rook. That one seems pretty cut and dried. But before I do it, I'll see if there's anything else. This other rook over here can't do much. Once I win their rook, I'm not sure. It almost looks like they could trap me though, right? Because they have to get out of check. And then if I take their rook, couldn't they just put their knight down there? Oh no, then I could get this pawn. And if they check me, I can come back here and get their rook. I think that's it because I don't have a mate. I'm positive I don't have a checkmate in this situation. I'm going to do it. Oh, that was it. Well, then it has to be winning the rook. Oh, they checked me. Okay, well, I have to protect mine. Oh, and they checked me again. Okay. Well, I have to keep protecting my rook, don't I? But then they can check me again. But then I could go behind my rook. I think. Oh, they took my rook. Well, that one went on a lot longer than I thought, and I don't know what theme to suggest for it. I'm glad I got it right. I did only get 6 points for it because it took so long. That's because obviously I thought about it for a while. I think one thing I can learn from this is, and one reason I should probably do puzzles more than I play games, is because in puzzles I force myself to take my time and think, and I don't always do that in games. All right, next. I'm playing with the white pieces. Looks like I have a checkmate right there. Checkmate in one, right? Yeah, they don't have anything guarding that square. My knight's protecting that square. That's checkmate. And apparently I should have gotten that a lot faster. Again, I just wanted to be sure. No, the theme is not passed pawns. What in the world? No, the theme is checkmate in one. Next. Okay, the opponent has just gotten out of check. Do I have a follow-up check? I do. It's right there, and that's not mate because oh no, that is mate. Wow, another checkmate in one. Let's just keep going. Oh, I'm only 4 minutes in. On my end here, do I have any checks? I do. They can take me. But then what? If I check here, they could move away, right? If they move away, I could take there and they would take me and then that would be mate. But I don't think they'll move away. I think they'll take me. And then that rook is pinned by my bishop. But, oh, and then I can take it. And then what? When I take it, that's check. I don't know. And also, for some reason, I felt like my mind went blank right in the middle of that. So I'm gonna start this over, but I'm kind of fixated on the queen check. I don't want to take with the rook first. Because if I do that, can't they checkmate me here? I mean, not immediately, because I could block with the bishop, but then they would take this rook. What? Sorry. Wow. All of a sudden, I felt like my brain shut off. Does that ever happen to you? Okay. That's not a check. So wouldn't they check me here? Then I could bring the rook back, or I could block with the bishop. Then they could take me, and then I could check down there, and their rook would be pinned. No, it wouldn't be pinned, because the bishop wouldn't be there anymore. I don't know. I'm leaning toward the queen check, but again, they take my queen, and then the only follow-up check I have is with my bishop, and they could either move away or move here. Now, if they moved in front of the bishop, I could bring it back someplace, and then they would be in check from the rook, but then they could just move out of check again over here to e8. So I don't know that that's it. You know what? I paused the recording and I thought about it for some time. I think I'm just going to take the rook. That's the most forcing move in this position. If they take back, I think I'm just going to take with the rook. They won't be in check, but I also don't think they'll try to check me because then I can bring the rook back protected by the bishop and they'll be in check. And I would have picked up 2 rooks for my queen. But I'll still be down though. Wait, I'll still be down. I think, because right now my opponent is up an entire rook. So if I take a rook and they take back and I take their rook, I've only gone up 1 point of material, and then I would have a rook and a bishop for their queen and their knight. I don't think that's good. Oh, I have no idea. I'm going to take with the rook. Oh, that was it. And then, well, then I bring the rook back, right? Yeah, that was check, discovered check from the queen. Oh, wow. I'm glad I changed my mind at the last minute. I'm having that feeling again, like maybe I shouldn't have started a video, but I do need to get into more of a habit of doing something chess-wise every day. I don't always get to. I've skipped a couple of days recently because of things going on in life, but let's see. What do we have here? I can take the bishop and then take back. Then I'll take that pawn. Are we even on material right now? Okay, we are even on material right now. I should look for checks first. I don't know why I was thinking of that first, but I don't think I have any serious checks. My only 2 checks are with the rook, and in both of those cases, the opponent could capture my rook, and that would be it. My only captures are this pawn, which I can take first, and that bishop, which I already mentioned. Do I have threats? I can put the knight here on f6, which is threatening mate, and they stop that. They could check me, and then I would get out of check, I guess. Or I guess I could get out of check over here. If I put the knight on f6, I'm threatening mate on h7. I don't think they can stop that. I think that's the best play. Oh, it just stopped there. Okay. And what theme would that be? I don't know. It would, if they made some move, then it would be a mate in something, right? Because this is a mate in 3, I guess, because again, they have this, they're not in check right now. They can check me and I get out of check, and then they have some other turn. What are they going to play? And then I mate them. So I think it should have been mate in 3, but it didn't go, so I can't add that. I'm going to click analysis just to see if it is a mate in 3 at this point. It's not. Oh, right. Oh, wait, they haven't made their move yet. Once they made their move. No, it's a mate in 4. Okay. So that was the move. Oh, and I was right. Bishop to e3 check is the one recommended by the engine. Okay, so why didn't it keep going? Why didn't the computer play this? Oh, because I could have gone either way? Okay, but why can't they design a puzzle that allows me to go either way? All right, let's say I went here, then their next move is here, which stops the mate, so I have to take the rook, and then it doesn't matter what they play. You know, they can just move a bishop or something, and then that's mate. Yeah, okay. I don't know why those don't keep going. I guess it's because they haven't yet figured out how to design a puzzle where there are times where you have 2 moves of equal value, and it should be able to let you make both of those moves. But I apparently, even though computers are that sophisticated, the people who make chess puzzles have decided for some reason not to go that direction. All right. And they know more about chess than I do, so they could be right about that. I have a check here with the rook on e8. I have checks with all kinds of checks with the queen. I'm not going to play that one, or this one, or this one, or this one. That one's a check. That one's a safe check, as is over here. Queen to b2 or queen to c4 are both good checks. Queen to c4 keeps the king from going back in there. That might be the best check right now. Oh, also, I just realized, no, my queen's not hanging because the knight is pinned. Okay, that check keeps them from escaping. And then I can follow up with not there though. Wow. Yeah, so if they get out of check here, I can't follow up with the rook because I just noticed they have a passed pawn. It's very close to promotion. Well, if I check here and they move over 1, then what do I do? Check over here on a2. So if they then try to run away and I check over here, then they actually get away. Now, if they went back immediately, then I could check here, but then they block with the bishop. And then I would check here, and then they would go there. And I could check here, but then they could block with the knight. Oh, but then, no, it still wouldn't be mate because the bishop would be in front of the king. Wait, okay. What if I check with the rook first, and the king escapes that way because that would be its only legal move? I mean, they could block with the queen, but they won't. I don't think. The king could go down there, and then I could check here. And then when the king goes to run again, I could check with the queen here, but then it goes around. I don't know. It just looks like all these moves, the king has multiple options. I think the most forcing one is the rook check, so I'm going to pick that one. And it stopped. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter where the king went after that. Again, in this case, they only had the 2 choices, to block with the queen or to get away. But what would I have done if they went down there? You saw I was struggling to figure out what they would have done. Oh, no. Okay, well, I spent too much time on that one. All right, the opponent has captured something here, probably a pawn, I'm guessing. I have a check with the queen. Oh, that's why the opponent's move was a blunder, because their knight used to be guarding that square, f3. I think if I check with the queen here, they're forced to block with the queen, and then I put my rook in the corner, and I think that's mate. Oh, and again, it didn't go. What? Oh, come on. I have multiple checks here. Actually, that's my only check, isn't it? No, I have a check with the queen. But if I check with the queen, the king just gets away. If I check with the rook, the king still gets to go there, but then I can bring the rook around, and I think that's mate. I think it's mate in 2. Oh, and it stopped again. What? That's 4 in a row that stopped too soon? That's mate in 2, right? It is. Mate in 2. Because I go here, and they only have 1 legal move. And then that's mate. Oh, no, I have 2 mates now. Oh, because it would also be mate if I promoted. That's why it didn't keep going. But still, why can't you design a puzzle? Why won't they? Because we know they can. We know computers are smart enough to give you 2 options, or 3 sometimes. On my computer, I have lots of options. We know that software can be designed to do that. So why, somebody tell me, there's probably a real answer. Why won't the people who design puzzles allow the puzzles to continue when the next move has 2 equal options, especially on forced mating sequences? That just seems like a no-brainer to me as someone who's trying to learn chess. All right, they have offered a queen trade. Should I take it? That's a good question. Let's look for checks. I don't have a check with the bishop. I don't have a check with this other bishop. I don't have a check with the queen because it can't move that way. That's, oh, wait. That's not a check, but is that the answer? Because that's what's defending their queen right now. Or what about this? No, wait. Because if I take here, they'll take my queen. And when I take back, they'll take my bishop. But if I take their knight first, I assume they'll take my queen. And when I take back, they'll take my rook. Because those 2 knights are both, they're both pointed at each other, and whichever one ends up there would be protecting their queen. So should I take the queen first? But then they go here, and my bishop's hanging. Okay, yeah, I have a feeling this is one of those trading situations that I miss in games fairly often, where I think, oh, if I take there and they take there, we'll come out with an even trade, but then we don't. And I end up, either there was a point at which I could have gone up a piece if I had traded in the right order, but I miss it, or there's an order in which my opponent can go up a piece rather than going out even, and I let them go in that order, and I think that's the case here. There's probably a name for that, but it's basically order of operations. Which one should I take first? Or should I just get out of the way? I don't know. Oh, wait, no. Okay, I think I saw it. I stared at it for just a little bit longer. If I take here first and they take my queen, then I take their queen back with my bishop, and I've saved the bishop. And of course, if they take back here, then I'll take their queen. I think it's taking that knight first. And that way I should come out a piece ahead. Oh, I hope that's right. Oh, it was. Oh, and they went that way. Okay, well then I take the knight now. And then their queen. Okay, that took me a while, but I figured out the order. It was just hard because I had to, but the opponent didn't do what I expected because they took the bishop first, which it made me have to rethink it. I think I could still end up losing this game because my king is open now. I have an isolated set of double pawns. I don't know that my bishop's going to be that effective here, although I am currently aiming at a pawn, but I'm a piece ahead. I should be able to pull that out. I just don't know. Theme was simplification. Okay, I do get that. Remove the defender. Okay. Remove the defender, I guess, is the technical term that I was looking for when it comes to those relatively complex series of trades in the middle game. But I miss those in games a lot. I see that this piece can take that piece, but this piece is defending that piece, and something else is defending that piece. And the which one to take first is a skill that I need to work on. So I'm glad for this puzzle. All right, this is one of those situations in which the opponent has been able to come in here and get my knight and my rook, looks like. My knight's missing, and they still have all their pieces. They're only missing 1 pawn. So in a game, I would assume I was lost, except I think I have mate here because they have to move, and then I take the bishop, and that's mate, I think. Okay, mate in 2. I'm glad that wasn't a game. In a game where that was the situation, I might have resigned, unless I had this pawn down there. At some point in the game, I had to have moved this pawn down there from somewhere, and so I would be thinking about it. I got that pawn all the way down there, and they didn't take back for some reason, and my queen was pointed right there, so I might have seen that in a game. I don't know. Well, let's take a look. We have multiple checks. I have a check with the bishop. I have a check with the queen. The queen's the one that I want to move right now because they've just threatened it with this pawn. Both of those moves look equally forcing to me. Either way, the opponent cannot block the check. The opponent has to move the king out to d7. And either way, I would be able to follow up with a check, right? If I checked with the queen first and the king came up, then I could follow with the bishop. But then they would have 2 options. One would be either to get out of, no, they couldn't get out of check because of where my queen is. So they would only have 1 option, and that would be to block with the pawn. And then I would take. Is the same thing is not going to be true this way, right? If I check here and they move up, I can follow with the check, but when they block with the pawn, I can't do anything about it. So I have to check with the queen first. Okay, now I check with the bishop, and now that's mate, I think. Okay, wow, all right. Oh, and that one had the correct theme, mate in 3. All right, that was just a matter of seeing the 2 checks and deciding which one would be better in the end. And it was the queen check. All right, next. I have just lost my rook on a8. Well, we know it's not a mate in one here with the queen because the knight is guarding that square. So what if I take the knight first? That's also a check. So it forces the king to either move over or the queen to take or the pawn to take. But once that knight's gone, I think I have mate with the queen on h2. No matter which way they take back, I think this is still mate. Or even if they just get out of check, like moving there. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to try then. Knight captures on f3, check. And they did take, so this should be checkmate. All right, I have enough time for hopefully 2 more puzzles, maybe 3, depending on how quickly I solve them. Next. I'm playing with the white pieces. This bishop's going to come in handy here. I think this is just a mate in one, because the pawn and the bishop cover those 2 squares, and they can't block or capture my rook. Mate in one, passed pawns, rook's on the 7th. I guess the rook was on the 7th, but, well, good. Let's do at least 1 more. Again, threatening my queen with a pawn. But again, this is, it's not quite mate, because they can move. But then I check here, and they have to block with the knight, and then I take it, and that's mate, I think. All right, we don't want to check here, correct? Because of the knight, so let's check over here. And that's mate. No theme here. I'm going to say mate in 3. Okay, that one was fairly straightforward. We just had to see which square the knight was protecting on the back rank. Next. Okay, I don't think I have any checks here. I cannot check with my knight. The king's on the wrong square for me to check with my bishop. And I cannot check with the rook because rooks don't move that way. I also can't take that pawn because my pawn is pinned here on d4. So what can I do? I can take the knight, then they take me. And then that would be sad. All right, I have no idea. I could move my king, not there, because of their knight, but I could move my king to the corner to break that pin, but then I think they're going to take. Oh, no, they won't take because then I'll take their knight. Okay, well, let's go back to taking the knight first. Does that gain me anything? All right, we have encountered a difficult one. Wait, I can take the pawn with my knight, thus removing the defender of their knight. Okay, wow, I almost didn't see that, but yeah, I was trying to look, is there anything I can capture? Not that. This doesn't seem like a great idea, but what about here? Knight captures on e5. What do they play? I'm still not threatening a check or anything, but I've picked up that pawn, which is in danger of becoming a passed pawn here in a second, or messing up my pawn structure. Because, you know, if it was their turn and they took here and I took back, then they would get another pawn with check, and it's starting to get, you know, a little dicey down there. But what do they play if I take this pawn now? I suppose anywhere they move this bishop, my bishop's hanging. So that's something they have to that I have to worry about. So should I move this bishop then? Right? Because right now my bishop's hanging. Should I move to protect the bishops in some way? I have no idea. Okay, well, my personal time here has run out while I was thinking about that, but I can't find anything. Depending on what the answer is here, I might have to add something to my checklist. My puzzles checklist for a long time has just had the 3 things. A month or 2 ago, I expanded there's a sub checklist for checks and a sub checklist for captures, I think, or maybe threats. But here I do not have any checks. My only captures in this position are the the rook capturing the knight and the knight capturing the pawn. And I don't see any threats. So I'm leaning toward this because it undefends their knight. Now I did think, you know, they could take this pawn with check, which leaves my bishop hanging. Now when I take back, they could take my bishop, but then I get their knight. And I would have a rook and a knight, and they would just have a rook. I think that works out for me unless there's some other resource that I've missed, so I'm going to take that pawn. It might be wrong, and if so, we'll find out why. Oh, they did. Okay, it was right. That's a good start. And now I have to get out of check. It doesn't make sense to get out of check any other way other than taking the bishop, right? If I just move my king, they're going to get my knight, so I have to take the bishop. Oh, and they took my bishop, like I thought. Well, then I should take their knight. My knight's defended. I take their knight. They could take my pawn, but I think I'm still ahead. I'm ahead a piece. Okay, well that took a while, and I don't know what the theme is, but I'm honestly surprised that was correct. Okay, well as I said, I'm past my time. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something out of that, and hopefully you're getting better at chess. I like to think that I am, but only time will tell. We'll see you next time.